All right, today we're going to be talking about how to earn good faith effort on the different portions of the K-Prep test. During the test, your testing teachers are going to be looking for these things. You will be allowed to use this checklist on the scrimmage test, but not on the K-Prep. When you receive a packet, the very first thing you are going to do is read over your writing situation and writing directions. Notice the checklist says underline tasks on writing situation and directions. In most cases on the standalone and the passage base, you will have two prompts to choose from. So you would have something like this and another one over here. Please read both of them carefully. For our example's sake, I'm not planning to have two of them. As you read it, you want to circle and underline important things that are going to help you with your writing, and things that are going to help you do what you need to do. In this case, our writing directions say something like, students have been invited to present how they feel about an issue. You have decided you do want to do so. Here are some key words. Write an argumentative speech in which you read to the board how you feel the way you do. So you have two directions there, argumentative speech. You would then go to your pre-write space and you would do what I call a WWF. Carve out a small corner and place that there. Now, in case it's been a while since you thought about WWF, this is what it means. The first W stands for who. Who are you writing to? You always need to consider the real reader of your prompt and your response and the fake reader. In a K-Prep situation, the real reader is always the K-Prep scorer. To please them and to get the best score possible, you have to please the fake reader. Now, in this situation, the fake reader or listener would be the people at a school board meeting. You are writing to please them, and you are doing that in a speech fashion in an argumentative way. So when we go back to this, what are you writing about? That's the topic, and in this case, it's school sports. That's what this is about. Form, are you informing, explaining? Are you arguing? Are you writing a narrative? If it's a 40-minute situation, you would be writing a 3.12. If it's 90 minutes, you would be writing a 5 or more paragraph. And last but not least, regardless of whether it's 40 or 90 minutes, narrative form takes on its own form. There is not a certain number of paragraphs. So you would complete your WWF on the pre-write space. Now, there's a couple graphic organizers I'd like to show you. If you are writing a 3.12 essay to inform, explain during 40 minutes, here's your WWF. Now, that's what it would look like on the corner. If you are writing an argument in a 40-minute situation, you have to conserve space. I place the WWF down here. During the 90-minute, if you are informing, explaining, have a WWF here, along with the rest of the graphic organizer, which we'll discuss in a minute. And again, on an argument, 90 minutes, you'd have a 5-paragraph graphic organizer, and I place that down there. On a narrative, you can choose wherever in the space you have room. It might be that you placed it somewhere over here, but the testing teacher is expecting to see a WWF wherever you need it to be placed. After you've done that, you're going to go back and read the information provided in the test booklet. So it may be an article, something like this. It might be an article with a chart, with a graph. As you are reading through this, you need to circle unfamiliar words and underline information that's going to help you inform, explain, or do whatever's necessary. You are expected to be able to use a dictionary at some point. This would be a great time if you have unfamiliar words to write the definitions of those words in the white space around the edge. You are expected to use a dictionary at some point. This is one possible time. You need to find a different time if this is not when you're planning to use it. Now we go to our graphic organizer. So we have underlined tasks on the writing situation directions. We have drawn a WWF asking who, what, and form. We have read our information very thoroughly, circling and possibly defining unfamiliar words, and we have underlined important information. On to our graphic organizers, or back to them. Again, in an inform, explain situation, 40 minutes, you are expected to write at least a 3.12 essay. You have your WWF. You have 3 sentences in your introduction, 6 sentences in your body, big idea 1, support, big idea 2, support, big idea 3, support, and 3 sentences at least in your conclusion. Do not forget transitions. That is inform, explain. If you are writing an argument in 40 minutes, you also are expected to have a 3.12 essay. Here is your introduction, 3 sentences, 6 sentences in the body, 3 sentences in the conclusion, 3 paragraphs. One thing you really need to remember in an argument is you need to have an antithesis planner. Your claim statement, how you feel about the situation, goes in the center. And then you need to think of 3 different groups of people who feel differently. Who, and who. Then you ask yourself how those groups feel about the issue. Those help you develop your 3 big ideas. If you are informing, explaining in a 90-minute situation, WWF, you will be writing a 5-paragraph or more. In your first paragraph, you're going to have the minimum of 4 sentences, an attention grabber, a sentence containing your list of 3, a sentence why you should care, and a transition sentence. Paragraph 2 is going to be about big idea 1 with at least 4 to 6 sentences. Paragraph 3 is going to be about your second big idea of at least 4 to 6 sentences. And paragraph 4 is going to be about big idea 3, at least 4 to 6 sentences. Don't forget to include personal experience. Those are called anecdotes, stories of things that happened to you that support what you're talking about. In your conclusion, you are going to restate your topic, restate your list of 3, restate why you care or why the reader should care, include a wrap-up sentence, and possibly another attention grabber. If you are writing a 90-minute argument, you are expected to write 5 or more paragraphs. Again, start with your antithesis planner. Claim, 3 groups who feel differently and how they feel. Then your introduction, body, and conclusion are the same as a regular 5-paragraph composition. Finally, for a narrative, 40 or 90 minutes, you are going to have a story map. You need to use the story elements, setting, characters, sequence of events. Make a timeline and place the events that happen during your story on that timeline. Exposition, which is background of the setting or characters. Conflict, the problems. Climax, the turning point. And resolution is how things are fixed. So at that point, we have drawn our organizers. You need to use the majority of the pre-write space. You'll notice on each one of these, I have used all the space. I did not draw something that was very small, used half the space. I used all the space given. Each of your writings should have multiple paragraphs, 3, 5, or in a narrative, an unlimited number of paragraphs. At some point during your writing, you need to use a thesaurus to replace dead words and improve your writing. Also, during your writing, you need to use your writer's reference sheets. On the front are the steps of the writing process. On the back are some things to help you, specifically if you're writing a narrative, informing, explaining, or an argument. These are issued to us by the state of Kentucky. These are the things they are looking for. When you believe you have finished your written response, you need to whisper speak your response to yourself. I have discussed this in class throughout all of my classes. The testing teacher should see your lips moving. It should look like you're talking with no sound coming out. This is a way that your ears will catch errors. And finally, you need to be actively working and engaged during the entire testing time given. In a 40-minute situation, we've used this in class, I would say that 8 to 10 minutes should be used to select your prompt, read, underline, and so on. 10 to 12 minutes should be used to plan your writing. 15 to 20 minutes actually writing your response, and 5 to 7 to 8 minutes improving your response. Please do not skip that step. Many students believe they're done when they really need to do the revising and improving. During a 90-minute situation, you have more time to stretch. 15 or 20 minutes to plan, 15 or 20 minutes to select your prompt, read it, do the WWF. 15 or 20 minutes to plan. Take your time. 15 minutes or so to write, and you'll see that you should have 10 to 12 minutes to improve your writing at the end. These are the things you will need to do to earn good faith effort on the 2 different days that on-demand writing is tested. As I said, during the scrimmage, you will be allowed to have this checklist at your desk so you can check mark things as you complete them. Unfortunately, you will not during the testing situation. One last thing I should mention, during the scrimmage, I have broken your packet and your response page into 2 booklets. This is similar to the way that it will be during the K-Prep. Your prompts and pre-write space will be in the testing booklet. This is the booklet that has all the questions. Your response paper will be lined sheets inside of your answer booklet. For the 40-minute time period, you will have 2 pages, front and back, which is equivalent to 50 lines. For the 90-minute, you will have 4 pages, which is equivalent to 100 lines. Please remember that if it is an article, you need to have a title. If it is a speech, you write it as though you are speaking up in front of somebody. No title or anything special necessary. If it is a letter, you need to have dear and sincerely. Please consider your audience. If it's to a close relative or a friend, it's a friendly letter. If it's to a mayor or a principal or a businessman, it should be a business letter. Last year they had some email formats, and in that situation you need to have a 2 carbon copy and a subject line, and then kind of a box in which you would write that, your response, and that response would be a 3.12 or a 5 paragraph. Hopefully these few tips and tricks will help you sail through the scrimmage a little bit more easily, and also through the K-Prep, in case you haven't been in my class yet this year, or you haven't been here since first quarter.